Today I went out and I purchased the new Polaris Quattro Pro. I'm trying to improve my pool boy duties by upgrading some of my equipment. Today we're going to upgrade to the big boy. Picked this up today at my local Leslie's. So this video is just going to be kind of an unboxing and an installation, and we'll come back in a little bit and we'll do give it a little bit of time and we'll do a review and see how well this thing does. So let's get to it. So as you can see, you've got the unit itself. It comes with its own hose. I do know that already just because I've been watching a lot of videos on this thing and doing my comparison shopping. Different type of filtration system. It doesn't have the bag, which the bag to me has always been ridiculous because of the way they sew it. You get dirt and debris down in these little corners of the bag, and unless you take it somewhere and rinse it out, you get algae built up in those corners. Poor design, in my opinion. So this comes with 30 feet of hose, which is more than I need for my pool, so we'll end up having to cut this down. It does come with the connection that goes into the side of your pool. This little cap here is adjustable. There should be another cap in here somewhere, and it basically restricts the water flow into the hose, which controls the speed of the device. These things typically run very, very fast, and you want to make sure you use the more restrictive adapter, and you may even want to open this valve a little bit to let some of the water flow out. That way it'll run better in your pool, because you don't want it moving too fast and it doesn't pick anything up. So we'll get to the hose here in a second. So overall it's a good size unit. I would say, I don't know, maybe 7 pounds, 10 pounds at most. Nice packaging. One of the things I liked most about it was the filtration. So with this unit, you actually get filter baskets. It has a finer mesh, and this is for catching some of the sand or silt, and even if you've got some of the DE in your pool, if you've got the DE type of pool filters, it'll capture some of that. So it really does a good job of cleaning. So I've read, watched, etc. The other one is a larger one, so this is for leaves and twigs and things like that. So they do nest within each other. So when you pull out one, you're pulling out both, and you just need to separate them and clean them both out. See? So that went in there pretty easy, no big deal. Nice big cavity, super easy to get that in and out. Easy enough. So on the bottom, one of the reasons I wanted this was because we're not very good about scrubbing our pool. You're supposed to scrub the sides of your pool, those kind of things. So this has these rubber bristles that will perform some of that scrubbing action. And then while it's riding up on the wall, it'll even get the water line or the mildew line that's just around the edge. These little fins spin, and they actually direct debris into the opening, which is, there's a suction being pulled on this opening with the water pressure that's coming from your pump, which that's one of the things. This is a pump fed device, so this is not electric. I already have a booster pump. The pool came with a booster pump, and that's what's been running the older Polaris that I've got installed right now. I haven't actually measured, but everything that I've read is this is a significantly bigger opening than some of the other devices out there, so that's good if you have leaves or things like that. All right, in the bag, we have instructions. We have a registration card, which you need the registration card if you want the rebate. So, and then here's that more restrictive disc. So we had talked about restricting the flow. Well, that happens right in here. So you pop out this disc. It's going to watch me struggle while I've got tools sitting right there. Okay, see if I can't make this a little easier. That just pops out, and then you pop the new one in. Easy peasy. once you've got something that can get that out of there like it's supposed to. All right, so last thing in the bag, there is the hose adapter. So this you connect to your hose, and essentially you put the threaded nut on the hose, then you put the adapter in the hose and you thread this down over it, and that holds everything in place. This is just a quick connect that goes onto the pool cleaner and snaps in place. When you're getting your Polaris out of the pool, my old one, I just grabbed it by the hose, and that's how I got it to the edge of the pool to clean it. With this one, because it's got the bearings in there, and it's just, you know, it's, I'm not gonna say that it's built cheaply, but I've been told that this breaks a lot. So the front of the Polaris, it has a handle. So this is what you should be using to pull this up out of the pool. So I took the 30-foot hose that they sent with the pool cleaner. I stretched it across the furthest point on my pool, and kind of rough estimate, I need about 25 feet. So I had to cut 5 feet off. Now keep in mind, you've got 2 of these swivel joints that are in the hose. So you don't want to just cut off the last 5 feet, because then you've got a very short section of hose that swivels, and it's not as effective. So there's 3 sections of hose that come with it. So I cut roughly 20 inches off of each hose. Now, these little barbed connections, I'm not sure if you can, how well you can see that. Getting the hose off of there is sometimes very difficult, and kind of bending and pulling, putting a strain on here, you run the risk of breaking this little joint. So knowing that I was going to cut the hose, I went ahead and cut the hose off at the connection, and then just split it in half to, you know, to get it off of the joint. So like I said, this is the end that connects to your pool. I've got the low flow adapter in there. One thing I did notice that my old one didn't have is this has a nice filter in there. Something else for us to be mindful of when we're cleaning the pool is to make sure that we get that filter cleaned out. Not that there should be any debris going in here, because this is pushing water that's coming out of your booster pump. So that's after it's gone through all of your filtration. So, but if you notice that you have poor performance, one of the things to check is this filter. If this is clogged, then you're gonna have poor flow, okay? So we are going to connect that end section, or the first section, to the middle section. Make sure you put the nut on first, because the nut threads down on top of the swivel fitting. So now that I've got that in there, you basically just push them together. Okay, so there's a line, so kind of make sure that you get to that line and you're good. And then the threads in here, you're basically just going to thread this down over the actual hose itself. And because of that joint, that helps hold it in place. Okay, there's one done. All right, so now we're going to go to the next section. So a couple things, little tips that I've learned over the years of having a pool. If this is too hard, you can do a couple of different things. So number one, they have some of the pool lube. It's kind of like a Vaseline-y, you know, kind of a lube. Use it on gaskets and other things. You can coat both of these in that, and that'll help it slide on a little easier. If the hose is really, really stiff, or especially if you're trying to do this when it's cold, you can get a heat gun or maybe even a hair dryer and heat this up a little bit. It'll make it a little bit more pliable for you to move around. So I had to do that one year. So this is where the old Polaris was connecting, so it's the same connection. And that should just twist and then pop out. So you'll see the way that it kind of locks in there. So here's my old one. You can see I've got the high flow disc installed. Like I said, because of the speed of this device, they recommend the low flow, which is the red one, not the blue one. You're going to thread this into the wall with the low flow insert installed. And I assume that we don't need to go crazy like I did with the last one. Okay, let's get it a little snug. Okay, and now we connect the hose. So looking at the, I don't know how you can see that, it's got a little notch. You basically turn and then it snaps into place. And there we go. It's secured. Okay, so now take this, and connect it to the Polaris. And then, using the handle, not the hose, I'm gonna put him in the water. Oh yeah, get your old one out of the pool. So you can do a couple different ways. You can go into the app on the IntelliConnect if you got it set up, and you can set a run. You can run a manual schedule, or you can put it in service mode. Okay, and then run your pump. So we'll do, do about 2,500 RPM, then hit start. And it's got an egg timer, so it's going to run for 6 hours. Now, that's just running the pump. That doesn't run the Polaris, obviously. So relay 1 is the booster pump, which runs the Polaris. So now we turn that on. The one, my old Polaris, so there was an acorn on the back of it. So that acorn would basically, after a period of time, it would reverse the water flow when that's supposed to help get the Polaris out of a jam if it's in one. So the Quattro basically is different because it, after a period of time, it will basically just reverse one side of its wheels. So it'll sit there and spin and do a circle and get itself out of a jam. So that's what you saw it do just a second ago. So you can see how it's kind of spinning in a circle. That's what it's doing to change direction, just in case it's in a jam. Because it doesn't know if it's in a jam, it just knows that it's running. So you can see how the little floaty things keep the hose out of its way and let it do its job. Well guys, that's about it for this video. Just wanted to do a quick unpacking and installation of the Polaris Quattro Pro. As you can see, it was not that big a deal, pretty quick and easy. Essentially, you're probably spending more time managing hose than you are anything else. All right, bugs are getting me. So again, thanks for stopping by, really appreciate it. If you liked the video, be sure to give me a thumbs up. Share this with your friends, put it out on social media, all that fun stuff. Anyway, thanks again for stopping by. I do appreciate it. Enjoy. Had great reviews, so we're optimistic. So. Don't forget Jack. Jack, I'm not gonna forget Jack. Sorry, a little Titanic joke.